Members, I hope I can get all of your attention, and I think we've all heard already that our school finance bill is dead in the House, that the vehicle that we chose to put our Senate Bill 22 on, which was 1581, has just been called on a point of order. Didn't even really get any discussion, which also proves to me that the House is not ready to deal with nor talk about school finance, when we have been very clear as a Senate that school finance is probably the most important element of our budget and that our schools are our #1 priority. And it's very distressing. It is very difficult for us, especially at this late date, to even be able to discuss a school finance proposal when we have no vehicle to talk about. So, Mr. President, with all due respect to our colleagues over in the House, my concern that we are going to be here for a special session gets more and more sincere. And I am of the opinion, Mr. President, that there is one, as my colleague said, there is one more train out of the station. And would you help us to better understand what you think that this body ought to be doing at this moment in time?
Well, I think we ought to be, since we made the passage, since we made our agreement on the budget conditioned on a number of must-pass bills, including the passage of Senate Bill 22 or equivalent legislation, that we look for another bill to put that legislation on. And as you and I have discussed before, Senator Duncan's Fiscal Matters Bill, Senate Bill 1811, which is in conference right for that.
Might I ask, Mr. President, if
in that the shell of Senate Bill 1581 is already included in the Fiscal Matters Bill, Senate Bill 1811.
Might I ask, Mr. President, if your thoughts are, as mine are, that if in fact a school finance bill, Senate Bill 22 or a similar legislation, if that does not pass in 1811 or in anything that we see in the next 24 hours, would you feel the same way I do, that that will absolutely mean that we need to go into a special session?
I would. I certainly share your concern about kicking the can down the road and not addressing this when we have been working so hard to make sure that we provided a permanent fix on school finance. But I would want to make sure that all 32 of us agree on that. But I think a large majority of us do.
And I think at this moment in time, obviously we're at pretty late hour. I mean, we don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally around. I know that Senator Duncan has a conference committee makeup, but they haven't put a conference committee together on the House side, so he has no one to deal with yet. They seem to be dragging their feet on just about everything that has anything to do right now with public school finance. And I would like to make sure that all of us, I will be sending around a letter to everyone in the Senate that actually compares apples to apples on the proration that the House has been discussing versus our 22 that we have had 6 to 8 to 12 weeks of discussion, in hopes that we can at least get some closure as to what our position is as a Texas Senate versus what seems to be theirs. We really don't know because the bill never came up on the floor in the House. So I'm hoping that everyone will look in their mail. We'll either have that to you this evening or first thing in the morning. But I think this is a very serious and very important time for us in the Senate, and I hope that we all take this decision very seriously and take it to heart. I'm extremely concerned about what just took place in the House. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Shapiro. Mr. Doorkeeper.
Mr. President, there is a message from the House.
Admit the messenger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I am directed by the House to inform the Senate that the House has taken the following action. The House has passed